Let's see. Okay, we're doing Slackbots that optimize your ads and landing pages. The way we're going to run this is that we're going to start with an intro from me and Philip. We're going to do a really quick intro on what Flint is, what Victor is. Then we're going to jump into a workshop where we're going to perform some of these workflows live and then show you some of the workflows that we have running in our instances. Then at the end, we will have a little chat between Philip and myself, and then we will do a Q&A. So let us get started. So I'm Michelle. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Flint, where we help marketing teams build on-brand landing pages for every ad, every campaign, and every customer. They do this without needing to migrate their CMS or without relying on any engineers. Philip, you want to give an intro?
Absolutely. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. So, yeah, name's Philip. I come from Victor. Victor is essentially like having Claude that gets you without having to prompt him, but inside of your Slack. And one of the things that we connect to is Flint. So, just some time ago, I saw that Michelle signed up to our service. I reached out, we shook hands online, and we signed up to Flint, and a few exchanges about the value of each of our respective platforms. And we decided to do this webinar for you. So, uh, I know that Michelle's got a demo. I've got a demo. In the meantime, if you have any of those questions regarding either of the platforms or even before its platforms, just what we asked you at the beginning. So some workflows that you think are challenging or you found them not to be as effective as you wanted them to be, please drop them in the chat and we will try to tackle them live.
I'm excited. Let me give brief orientation on what Flint is, and then Philip can also explain what Victor is, and then we can jump into demos. So in short, like Flint gets you on-brand landing pages. So we first take in your brand from your existing website. We have this capability where we can clone and extend any website on the internet. And then once you're inside of Flint, you can pipe in any of your data from Clay, from Airtable, CRM, spreadsheet, and then we can end up generating on-brand pages for every single one of your accounts, every single one of your ads. You can use Flint through our editor, or you could also use it through our MCP and API. You're going to see how we're going to use the API today. But also a very key workflow is a lot of people love using Claude and Flint together. Um, Fractional beam. Okay, here we go. Then you can also deploy all of your pages on Flint when we have out-of-the-box SEO, and all your pages will automatically be on your domain. And then once you do launch your pages, Flint actually automatically updates them and tells you every month what are some new things that you need to start building. So I'm gonna give like a very short a demo of what we do. So let me share this screen over here. So this is what Flint looks like. When you first log into Flint, we would have cloned your brand. So in this case, this is a healthcare company where they had a Framer site and very little bandwidth from their designers to create landing pages for ads. So what they did was they put the withtandem.com URL into Flint, and then we clone their brand. So we have all of their assets, including animations, typography, all of that all in Flint, which means that it's really easy for them to directly edit the text, um, and also extremely easy for them to replace images by just clicking and then replacing them. And then we can also replicate very cool animations. I might even ask you to do something very interesting where I could point to the component and say like, I actually want these to be tabs instead of rows. And then Flink can actually go to work and be just like your designer or engineer and start uh, redesigning this component. So being able to directly edit and change the design of pages is extremely important for paid landing pages because you often need to A/B test and experiment your way into optimizing conversion. So while this is loading, I'm going to show you some of the example pages that we can. Oh, whoops, it's already done. Um, where was it? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I completely changed this step-by-step component into tabs, and I can now click through it. Maybe I might even say, I want an image in each of these tabs. And you can get the gist. It's about being able to completely change the design and experiment with completely new landing pages. So this company was able to create a page for different specialties, or when they're going to conferences, they might also make a page and then drive ads towards this. They were also able to run homepage A/B tests. And through Flint, they actually tripled their conversions on Google Ads. So Flint is a really good tool that you can use for paid ad optimization. And I'm going to show you how you can use it through the API later on. Okay, so back to Figma. Um, Philip, do you want to give an intro on what Victor is broadly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I can do it in 30, 60 seconds. So, just like you can read here, Victor is an AI employee in Slack. So, fully approved Slack marketplace app. You go to the website getvictor.com, click get started for free. Within 2 clicks, Victor already is in your Slack. First thing he does is all of the channels that you invite him to. I encourage the more the better. You will be able to experience Victor onboarding himself to everything in the workspace. And because of that, he has contextual awareness both at the time and compounding over time of who are you, who are other people, either is helping you in DMs or collaboratively in a channel. He gets why you're asking him to do things. So there's no more context chasing or prompting. And on top of that, there is a layer of 3,000 native integrations and custom ones if you like. Uh, Victor just gets the job done, whether that's pulling data from 3 data sources and providing you with a report, being on alert about budget spikes in your ads, or integrating with tools like Flint, where just from one Slack message you can get the outcome without leaving the place of work, which is Slack. So, yeah,
Yeah, this is one of the most game-changing tools I've used all year. And it's very easy to install it. Just go to their website and then install the Slackbot. And then one thing I really like about Victor is that it actually proactively suggests workflows for you. So you don't have to sit down and think like, oh, what do I want to automate? Victor will just say, hey, like I noticed that you keep checking on your competitors in this channel. What if I just summarized it for you every morning? And I'm like, yeah, sure, go for it. So this is really awesome.
thank you.
So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna give a quick demo of what it looks like if I wanted to manage my ads and my landing pages on Slack. So let me screen share this Slack. And actually before that, I want to show you like what we're actually doing. So Flynn has set up this very simple Google ad campaign. We just started it maybe a couple days ago. So it is on the smaller side, but you can see that we have various campaigns that we're driving dollars to. And so I want to demo what it's like to manage my ads and my landing pages through Slack. So back here. So the first thing I'm going to do is um, I'm going to ask Victor just give me a summary of how the Google Ads have been doing in the last 14 days. And I'm tagging Victor. It's really fun because Victor actually responds to my Slack messages through emojis. Um, so it almost feels like it really is an AI employee. So it's gonna take a little while to load.
Yeah, maybe just to populate the silence, whenever you ask Victor something, it's never going to be the experience of, let's say, a chat GPT on an instant setup. Because just like a coworker, they would need a moment to think, and this is what Victor is doing. Because in order to provide a quick summary of the performance of Google Ads, he needs to go to Google Ads, come back, and then reword it to the context of what matters for Michelle when she's asking that question. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think of it like an AI employee or an employee. Like when I ask someone on my team to, hey, like, check out the webinar registrants for today and then, help me figure out what I should demo. I don't expect an immediate response. I kind of want to like, assign the task and then get back to my other things. And then they will tell me when it's done. Okay, there we go. That was actually really fast. So it's given me a summary of how it's been doing. So we spent 1.6K. We had 4% click-through rate. Um, and this part I really love is that they also give you the analysis rather than just the results. So it looks like, oh, my competitor campaign is actually not doing great. It's very low volume. So I might then look at this and I'll say like, hey, Victor, um, let's actually pause that campaign. It's doing so badly. We should pause it. So let's get it paused.
And yeah, Farhan, I've seen your question. How is Victor reading Google Ads through the API? So we use Pipedream as a provider of all of these integrations. So I do believe it would be through their, let's say, authorized connection. And anything that we don't have a native integration for, Victor can just build out the integration. You just have to provide the API key. So a bunch of the tools that you use on a daily basis are probably going to be there anyway. But if there's something, say, on the edge, then so you can still connect it.
Out of curiosity in the chat, if folks could say something, how many people have already tried using Victor?
Good shout, good shout. And yeah, and even if you haven't used Victor yet, or Victor and Flint, or any other combination, if you drop a few words about your company or position, even that alone will allow us to, contextualize what we speak about during this webinar. Alex, your question, will Victor ever come back and be like, need more information, or are you trying to achieve X, Y, and Z? Um, Ever, yes. If you want him to do that every time, you can just set it up as a skill. But at the same time, I've just learned that just telling him that first I want us to devise the method of achieving a certain outcome and then pressing play, that's the best. But here we have the answer from Victor.
Oh yeah, let's go. So because it's a right action, which is I want to do something to change my ad manager, Vic actually asks me to approve. Um, and this is actually a setting that I can configure inside of the Victor web app. But in this case, I really always want to approve before I update my campaign. So I'm gonna click approve here, and then it goes ahead and updates my campaign. And then it also responded on which ad groups have the lowest quality scores. I think one benefit of like why are we doing this in Slack? Like why not do this in Claude? I think that's because you get to experience the power of collaboration. So let's say I'm asking these questions and then my colleague sees that there's something they want to chime in on, they could actually come in and start replying on Slack. So I don't know, Ed, if you want to, if you want to, you can maybe like start talking to Victor as well. Um, or sometimes you need to collaborate with Victor. Um, so for example, yesterday we had this use case where I needed to bring in the designer to create a creative, and then I needed to bring in someone else on my team to provide more context to Victor, and I could just tag them in. Okay, so next step here is I want to focus a little bit more on the ad groups that have low quality scores. So I want them to do a little bit of a deep dive. So scores of 2 or 1. Can you do a deep dive um, and suggest what I can fix about it? Oftentimes, quality scores are to do with the content on your ad page. So I'm also going to go and ask Victor if it could go to Flint and look at the landing pages for each of those ads and create a video. Okay, page load speeds. Okay, Alex is asking about page load speeds from Flint. Yeah. So maybe let's give it a URL, maybe to see like, hey, can you check on the page load speeds of, I'll just give it a random URL. Maybe my pricing page. Yeah, so Alex asked in the chat if you can look at page load speeds since those also affect quality scores. So I'm testing it out. I think one of the other cool things is that you can kind of stack all these APIs together and then have Victor kind of synthesize everything it's learning. So one thing that I might check, for example, might be to ask my post hoc how well those pages are doing. Or if I have access to Ahrefs, I could also ask about the SEO of those pages.
I can confirm that one of the customer favorites is not just the convenience of being able to manage your ads and their performance from Victor, but also correlating, just like Michelle said, let's say asking for the relationship between your ad spend, users' behavior through post hog and Stripe to paint you a picture between which of the ads bring you the best types of users who pay you the most and stay with you the longest. So
Yeah. Yeah, this is really detailed and amazing. I mean, it automatically checked that my competitor pages are not doing well. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. So it's like it's almost like Flint helps you build comparison pages, but I think that the intent of this campaign is to actually be a Flint versus Unbounce page. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah. So currently, Victor is still at work at building the V2 of the Flint landing pages, so we're still in a waiting state. But I like how it kind of like chunks its results. So instead of waiting for like both the analysis and the pages to be done, it tells me the analysis while telling me that, oh, like wait, like there's more, just give it a wait. So at least there's something for me to nibble on before the final product is done. I'm actually gonna go and send another one to it while waiting. See. Can you update the Flynn page to have the new copy that you proposed? Um, this might be taking a little bit longer. Um, should we just show what it looks like when it's done?
I'm okay with it, totally.
Ed, are you still online? Do you think you could screen share what it looks like when it's done?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up because I ran this last night, so I do have like sample landing pages that Victor created for me. But let me just pull them up and I can share my screen.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, in actual practice, when I ask Victor to do things, I never really like stare at the thread. I just kind of context switch and do something else. So it's totally fine that it takes a few minutes.
yeah, and it's same deal for me. Like my workflow is very much like I will send Victor something and then I'll come back to like see what it's done and then review and like kind of move on from there. But I'll show you kind of like what the responses were when I did this. So you can see that I have a very similar kind of like conversation that Michelle showed with Victor. It's like, hey, like I want to see like what your suggestions are for landing pages. And then I asked it to go ahead and like build it like Michelle did. And then it gives me back like these options. And it's like, hey, like you can go and review the page that I have here and you can see what the changes were. And we open them up. It actually changed the copy of the landing pages that we're using while keeping the original layout that I asked it to use, right? So you can see that like the context of this campaign was keywords that had to do with like dedicated landing pages. So it uses that copy across like different places. So like create your first dedicated landing page here, see it in action, dedicated landing page. So it understands like the elements that Google's looking through to understand like how to give you the quality score and how to improve that. I mean, I gave it the prompt to explicitly improve the quality score. Um, but if you like, we can also share like what the original landing page looked like, but it goes through the whole content and like uses the exact methodology that you share in the prompt. And then if we go back here, I actually did a couple of other things afterwards. Like, great, I really like the landing pages. And then I wanted it to tell me some context of, oh, let's see. Actually, yeah, like the here are the all the changes that I need to go back and like make to the individual campaigns. So like based on all the conversation that I had, I basically asked like Victor to give me a summary so I knew what I needed to go back and update on Google Ads afterwards. And then you can actually ask it questions, which I thought was like helpful here. So my first thought was, okay, you already created the landing page for me. I would love to set this up as an A/B test. And unfortunately, there's a limitation on the Google Ads API, not anything on Victor explicitly, but it does not have the option to like actually set it up as an A/B test yet. So But it gives me that context. So I'm like, hey, like, no, not currently. Like Google Ads integration doesn't have the ability for us to be able to run A/B tests this way. These are the things that I'm able to like change. And then like you can go back and actually create the experiment yourself. And then it gave me all the details so I could set it up on our campaign. But it like I appreciate that it understands its own limitations too. So I know what are the things that I can just go and do directly on Slack with Victor, and then the stuff that I know that it can't update itself, then I can go back to the individual app platform and do that. And Philip, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, it does have right access to Meta and like LinkedIn and other ad platforms. It's just this particular thing is a limitation on the Google Ads API. But Victor can go ahead and like implement changes directly on your ads or like update a landing page if you're using like Meta or another platform.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely correct. So, just like he has recognized here that this is something that the integration doesn't allow for, because anything that the integration would, he would be able to do. But in this case, he's just being politely transparent and telling you which of the things you need to do.
Definitely. Okay, so I'll stop sharing
Yeah,
and maybe Michelle, you can, I don't know if it'll be ready on your end. You can just show that you
yeah,
can respond.
yeah. Thank you for helping me buy time. It's actually done on my end. So it uh went and called the Flint API to update the landing pages, and then Alex, you asked about a page speed report. It actually came back with a page speed report, so now I can see that I need to improve my mobile performance. Um, and it did a direct load test, and it even included screenshots. This is incredible. Yeah. So I thought maybe this could be a good time to switch over to Philip to show some demos from his side.
Absolutely happy to do it. Folks, I will be showing my screen with some interactions that I just thought that would be relevant for you as the audience. But totally feel free to throw questions into the chat that you want me to ask Victor and make them challenging, like throw curveballs, I insist. Um, just clean up what I have here. Is my screen visible? Would you like me to make it bigger, perhaps?
Maybe it could be a little bit wider.
Yeah. Just moving around. This is good.
Very good. Thank you.
So, yeah, here, of course, I asked Victor for some things that we usually work with. In a second, I will also be able to show you some of the examples that you asked me for. And if you won't ask me for, I have some more that I'll just continue showing you. So here, example number one, Victor, give me a daily marketing performance brief, Google Ad spend, CTR, CPC anomalies, and recommended actions for the last 24 hours. So here, in a very similar vein to what Michelle was showing you. Of course, if I would bother to be more specific or say, for example, why I'm asking because I need to show it to someone, Victor would also ask me if I want this packaged as a PDF or do we need to already send this via email to someone because Victor can integrate with your inbox or he also has his own email. So if you'd like to, have Victor send things on your behalf, that could also happen. So here we see all of the data, some of the anomalies that are being pointed to our attention and recommended actions that are going to either make your ads perform better or kill some of the losers in the campaign that might just be bleeding your budgets. Michelle, due to the nature of the screen share on Zoom, I don't see the chat if there's any questions popping up, so please let me know if there's any things that people are asking me to ask Victor.
Will do. Nothing so far.
Thank you
Maybe
so much.
I'll create something for you.
Please do. So, yeah, just unwrapping these. And yeah, here I asked Victor about a competitor to analyze their homepage, what messaging are they using, what keywords are they likely targeting, and give me three Google Ads angles I could run against them. So first, Victor investigates the brand, any of the keywords that they're most likely using, three Google Ads angles to run against Lindy. So here he says that their brand is entirely built on iMessage. That sounds cool in a demo, but in practice, you're typing instructions into a text bubble with no context, no dashboards, no visibility. For power users and teams, this is a toy. And here he comes up with this slightly tongue-in-cheek uh, idea for the ad texting isn't working, gives me the headlines, target keywords, and what is the audience that I'm attacking here. Uh, Number two, Lindy is positioned as a personal assistant. Their enterprise page exists, but the homepage screams individual user. Victor is as collaborative as it is personal, so that's also what he hopes to capitalize on here. And then Lindy's core claim is get 2 hours back every day. So once again, tongue in cheek, he says 2 hours. That's cute. 2 hours, we give you full days back. Lindy drafts emails, Victor runs operations. And of course, you can expect the same, say, creative forcefulness from him as well. Uh, More on the homepage breakdown tells me the things that I would like to know even without visiting that page, and even more ideas and even more headlines. So then I told Victor that I'm about to do a webinar showing Google Ads optimization, a landing pages to a mixed audience with Michelle from Flint. I asked him to help me write follow-up emails that could convert each type of person who was in the room. Think agencies running ads for clients in products, and people in industries like legal, real estate who are exploring AI marketing for the first time. So here, making some assumptions, he's thinking that for agencies and consultants, the very good use cases of Victor would be automated daily client briefs, lead time budget leak detection, competitor intel on demand for every pitch. And these are things that, for example, here, you could prompt him, but you could very well have a setup where you have, let's say, your calendar connected, and Victor knows when you're meeting with someone. And in due time, before each meeting, he would prepare you a PDF or an agenda or any type of asset or artifact that you would find helpful on repeat without you having to ask. You just have to lay down the ground rules of what you consider effective in such a situation. And then he continues for in-house growth marketers, performance brief, killing underperformance before budgets are drained, quality score diagnosis, ad copy generation, and ads can be generated themselves as well. He can generate videos, he can generate images with the most popular models. AI startup founders, marketing ops without marketing headcount, integrate once, automate forever, competitive intel as a background process, and turning founder knowledge into ad campaigns. Legal real estate, non-traditional industries, plain English ad performance, catching wasted spend, competitor visibility you've never had, and ROI math that makes it obvious. So uh, he's very good at sort of identifying the workflows that he can do for you and defending his costs against what you would actually have to pay to a human. Um, so also here you can see this is sort of a reiteration of what I was saying to you. Uh, Victor says hello to all of you, and he says that he's reading his channel right now, so feel free to uh, mention him if you want something specific. The last example I'm going to show now before I hopefully get some requests from you folks. Uh, I gave an example that I'm running a marketing agency for 12 clients, $150,000 in spend, three account managers, and their biggest time sink is reporting. Walk me exactly through what you'd automate, what integrations, and how that would help. So he mentions what tools he'd like me to connect to, and then just describes what I could expect from him. That even before I open my laptop at 7 a.m., I would already have an update, any anomalies I have to manage before client calls. So, pretty much what I just mentioned a second ago. And then come Friday, you would have a summary of the whole week. And here you can see that Victor is once again pitching himself on my behalf, let's say. So yeah, I'm gonna pause my screen share for a moment just to see that sadly none of you have asked a question, if I'm not mistaken. So I encourage you, but if not, then we can still continue. I have maybe one or two examples that might be interesting for you. But Michelle, this is your show. I don't want to steal it, so do tell.
Yeah, I thought that we could show a couple more examples, and then we could just go to Q&A.
Absolutely. So let me just open these examples up and can I get something in the chat with regards to do we have technical people or are some use cases that are more on the technical side in terms of the outputs? Welcome or not really?
I think it mostly. Oh,
Yes?
okay. I'm a little bit confused because Farhan asked, "Is this recorded?" I said yes, but then Tanya also said yes. So is the yes to his question or yes
Oh,
to Tanya?
yes.
Okay, got
Okay,
it.
got it. Thank you. All right, so let me reshare my screen because I specifically opened three windows. I'm going to have to screen share three times, but I just didn't want to have you jumping through my Slack. So these are going to be very, very quick. So this is going to be number one. Mm. So that's the technical one that I was asking about. So typically, when a customer support rep would come with something like this, that the customer is complaining that the app doesn't work, the customer support rep probably is not an engineering specialist. So their job would finish here. They would have to wait for an engineer to read this. They would say that the app doesn't work, isn't feedback enough for anybody to really investigate. So they would send the customer support rep back to the client to ask him follow-up questions. And after this table tennis of back and forth, eventually the engineer would look at this, maybe allocate their time depending on the priority in their backlog. Here, thanks to Victor, who is connected in our case to the code base and to Stripe, Victor is drastically collapsing the time that you would usually have to wait. And let's say being the glue of skills that one might not have but might need to access. So he diagnoses what is going on, fixes as much as he can, and creates a pull request ready for the engineer to review and merge. So the customer gets his response and resolution much faster. The customer support rep doesn't get into not meaningful interactions, and the resolution rate can go up. And the engineer himself also gets to work without the unnecessary admin overlap. So that's example number one. Now, quickly on to example number two. Yeah. So you may remember I mentioned this pull this week's growth report from our ad accounts, PostHog and Baremetrics. For anybody who's not that familiar with the tools, PostHog is designed to help us understand the behavior of users from the landing page through the funnel down to how they use the app through specific user events that we define. And Baremetrics is a layer on top of Stripe that gives us more granular data. I asked Victor to post it to Slack to create an Excel version and build a beautiful presentation for investors. And in 8 minutes, between 1:42 p.m. and 1:50 p.m., he comes back both with a response in text, also with those key highlights, the anomalies that Michelle highlighted before, even a heads up that we could save $10,000 a week if we switch up settings regarding Meta Audience Network. And then if I want such a report to be presented to me regularly, I just say, run this every Monday automatically. And he confirms scheduling this as a Monday automation. Um, yeah. So now on to my final example. There we go. So you may remember that I said that Victor is able to build out an integration if he doesn't have one natively, and that is the result of him having his own virtual machine. So just like your coworkers have their computers, Victor has one as well. And he can build out integrations. He can build out websites if you like, but he can also build full web apps with a database and with authentication. And this is a customer favorite for internal tools or something that you want to present to the client, but for example, the current tool that you're using, it doesn't have this custom feature that you've been asking them for 6 months, and they promise that they're maybe going to put it on the roadmap. So here, all of your employees with zero coding skills can create safe apps that Victor continuously also maintains and they can live on your domain. So here I complain that we're getting user feedback everywhere. I list the sources. I ask what I want of him in terms of the collection and AI sentiment analysis, and then I simply receive that living already on our domain. So that being said, these are those three quick examples. I think right now you sort of have this holistic view of what Victor can do, which is a lot.
That's really awesome. I really love how it uh, integrates a lot of different sources, and I didn't realize it had a virtual machine, so that's really awesome.
Yeah, I had this conversation with him yesterday, like what kind of machine. He described how much RAM he has, what's the setup, what we can run over there. So, even some basic machine learning he's able to execute on that machine.
That's incredible. Okay, well, so now we have some time left for questions. If folks could put your questions in the chat, or if you want to, you can also say it out loud. We'd love to answer. Okay.
Yeah, Sam, I
Yeah.
see your question. Sam, what kind of integrations does Victor have? Salesforce, GA4, and pull these into Slack? Absolutely, but many more. Like if you would like to list all of the tools that you use at your company, I can throw it to Victor and tell you what he responds. But at the same time, if I'm not being too forward, we do give $100 of credits for free. So, just getting it into your workspace will give you a much more meaningful interaction because I speak in theory. Victor will know your context. So, uh, and Sam, you said VWO. I'm guessing that's the name of a tool. Are you listing more?
VWO is like a A/B testing tool.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
seeing it in the directory, so I don't
Yeah.
think it has a native VWO integration. Yeah,
Very
well, I
possible.
guess
But as long as they have an API, then.
the next question, Philip, is can we build custom integrations?
Yeah, Sam, absolutely. Like, you don't have to build them at all. You just have to point Victor towards the name of the tool. He's gonna go read up all on the docs, tell you what is possible, what are the limitations, and then as long as you can provide the API key, that's the only job that you're expected to do.
I'm curious, like how does Victor deal with like API keys and secrets?
How does he deal?
Like
Can I?
keep it secure, like we don't want to release the API key out and
Oh, of course, of course, of course, of course. So, um, aside from just, you know, telling you all of the things that everybody wants to hear about the fact that everybody's data is separate, enterprise grade infrastructure, I can also substantiate these claims with, let's say, external validators. One being the fact that we are SOC 2 compliant, that we have other certificates on the way as well. We're a company that's been in operation since 2023, so it's not like, we exist since Victor launched, which is 1.5 months ago. And to get onto the Slack app marketplace, it's a pretty tedious process of 12 weeks where Slack is really meticulous about making sure that nothing enters the Slack ecosystem that could possibly poison the experience of Slack users. So If anybody has any specific questions towards the tech, I'm more than happy to try to tackle them myself, not being a technical person, but I've been asked these questions a bunch.
Yeah, I guess like while waiting for other questions to come in, just like maybe we could chat a little bit about the future of AI employees. Right. What do you think is next for Victor? Like not like 1 month ahead, but like 6 months ahead, like how would humans be working with AI employees? Like what are some things that humans should still be doing, and then what are some things that you see AI employees doing?
I actually had this conversation yesterday with a prospect. We got very philosophical about this. That right now we as humanity are experiencing this unforeseen increase in efficiency and productivity. So it's going to be a very new experience for all of us. Where eventually, at the let's say end of this chart, there is a moment where we are so efficient that maybe we don't have to work. Very attractive vision, right? But between then and now, I'm pretty sure that what we're going to see is, and I'm going to mention a part of this that I don't have an answer to, maybe you do. Uh, as much as, for example, there was before having a calculator and having a calculator, you still had to do the math. So there's even with an efficiency gain, if you're relieved from other tasks, that means you have both more time and more headspace for, let's say, more refined tasks. So, in that sense, you could, for example, foresee a future within maybe not 6 months, but maybe a matter of 2 years, where agencies, as we know them today, marketing agencies, will have a tough time remaining in the same model that they've been providing, and they will have to upskill themselves to, let's say, workflow architects, right? So being the masters of automation, being able to enter a company and not do the tasks, but set up systems that have these tasks running on autopilot. And the second thing that I said I don't have an answer to is we started talking about children yesterday. Because for you or for me, Michelle, like we've had this experience of the world and the school before AI. I don't know what it's going to be like for the child of tomorrow becomes before he becomes the adult of the day after tomorrow without having to, burn this lean tissue through stuff that's hard where you just can't prompt an AI to do stuff for you. I'm wondering what that's going to do for critical thinking, for example.
Right, like it was helpful for us to have the times table memorized,
Yeah.
even though Excel exists. Um, like what do children need to learn so that they understand what AI is doing on their behalf? Um, I think what you said really resonated with me. I think that I'm starting to see, I mean, I have an engineering background. I was the first software engineer at a startup called Warp. Um, and I'm just seeing so many parallels in what's happening in marketing and growth to what I saw in developer tooling. In that, I think that marketing and growth is going to be more of a um, systems architect and someone who creates systems. Then in the past, it used to be um, just like moving pixels on a canvas and like adjusting positioning. I think it's going to be more about how can we create a system so that every single prospect gets a personalized message at the right timing, and that all of our ads are just programmatically optimized in real time. Um, and I think that there's been a lot of interest I'm seeing from my customer base where many people are already using Cloud Code day to day, running these like scheduled tasks and um, optimizing like automating change logs already. Um, and then I'm also seeing, with this tool called Clay, they have created this new like role called like go-to-market engineering, where it kind of automates a lot of SDR workflows where it used to be like manually reaching out to people, and now it's like they have a system. They're creating this new role where the go-to-market engineer creates a system so that they're reaching out to all of their prospects at scale. So I think that that's kind of the future I'm seeing.
Yeah, when we were recently in Dubai at an offsite, just around the time when the unfortunate events started happening, during that offsite, everybody was forced to learn Cursor and showcase their first output from Cursor, regardless if you're from content, regardless if you're from, sales and events like myself, all of us were, sort of made sure that the playing field is leveled to the point where no one is slowing down the team because I think that's also a pretty important part of like deploying AI across the company. You want to have this adoption rate because it's essentially like, I don't know, back in 2000s, if you were able to speak English in Poland, people thought you could fly. Then fast forward to today, if you don't speak English, you're left behind. And in a similar fashion, if all of the employees are going to be moving faster, better, more efficiently, and then there's someone who's like, I don't know, I don't feel it, uh, then that's not just going to be a personal thing because it's just going to be extremely visible who's like, riding a horse instead of driving a car, essentially.
Yeah. Um, yeah, well, I think that this would be a good point to end with that amazing catchphrase. Are we riding a horse or driving a car?
I learned once for someone I cared about a lot. But yeah, let's leave that for the next webinar. Samuel, I think you're asking last questions. Can one pick and choose which models Victor can use? Suppose legal has restrictions on some. Yes, in the settings panel, we allow that by default. You're moving on Opus 4.6, but you can also use GPT 5.4 or Sonnet from Anthropic. And these decisions are based on our extensive testing because as much as it might be enticing to try a cheaper model to get the costs lower, I think that, loving a coworker for their output is a basis of their not just competency, but also that being delivered in a reliable fashion. So these are the models that we chose safely that wouldn't like, deteriorate your experience. So feel free to try it out.
Yeah, thank you everyone. I'm gonna send you the recording after this. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.